From facing the wrath of Scientologists to getting banned in multiple countries, these are all the times the creators of South Park were sued. Trey Parker and Matt Stone continue to do most of the writing for South Park, and if they aren't being controversial, ruffling as many feathers as humanly possible, they simply aren't happy. They've openly admitted to writing things that get them in trouble, and frankly, they just don't care. Now, why would anyone who's sane go looking out for lawsuits? Well, you can expect nothing less from the South Park lads. Honestly, I can't believe they haven't been canceled yet, but they did try themselves. Parker and Stone were already aware of all this before political correctness and being woke became a thing. And they've even come up with entertaining ways to make fun of the fact that their show is extremely insulting to certain people, and yet it's allowed to air as per usual. In fact, they even included #CancelSouthPark into their marketing campaign for a later season of the show. It's things like these that have the well-liked social satire still going strong. Most of the criticism of their more controversial storylines often comes from people who identify as right-wing. That is to say, those with staunchly conservative beliefs who find themselves to the right of the political spectrum. Recently, the long-running series poked fun at the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, bringing the Comedy Central series back into the spotlight. While Matt and Trey have regretted airing a few episodes of the program, mostly they have stuck by their artistic choices despite criticism and backlash. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise, considering that one of America's founding democratic principles is freedom of speech and expression. And everything that Matt and Trey write is protected speech. In the episode titled The Worldwide Privacy Tour, we get to see a couple that looks very much like the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, aka Harry and Meghan. The pair takes their private jet on a global tour in an aggressive advertising campaign to quell rumors about them. For all we know, a fresh lawsuit will be on its way from sunny California to South Park's doorsteps. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Trey and Matt have angered a lot of powerful people who can't seem to take a joke. Did you know there's a ton of famous people who've hated being mocked on South Park? True story. In fact, one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, Tom Cruise, ranks quite high on that list. In the South Park episode titled Trapped in the Closet, the South Park team blatantly implied that the megastar was stuck in the closet, implying, of course, that Tom was a homosexual. Needless to say, Tom didn't find it very funny. I mean, come on, Cruise, where's your humor? But that wasn't all that got Tom hot under the collar. The episode spent a lot of time going over all the sci-fi heavy beliefs that the Church of Scientology promotes, and the showrunners left no stone unturned in an effort to expose it for what they think it really is. Let's just say the response to the Season 9 episode was swift and harsh. Tom Cruise was so infuriated, he sued the show, and even threatened the company that owns Comedy Central. On top of that, the actor Isaac Hayes stopped voicing the character Chef as a result of their critiques of the church, and subsequently left the show. Naturally, Matt and Trey found a way to criticize Isaac for being okay with mocking other religions and beliefs, but not his own in another episode. It's only fair, right? Well, the creators sit on a throne of lawsuits, having been sued for all sorts of things like defamation, invasion of privacy, and copyright infringement. Even though the majority of these lawsuits have been dismissed, they've cost Parker and Stone money and time. But something tells me Matt and Trey wear these lawsuits like a badge of honor. The bulk of lawsuits against the show has been brought by people or businesses that have been featured in it. Yes, I said businesses too. In May 2016, the popular website Yelp sued Comedy Central and South Park, alleging defamation of character. Apparently, the company was mocked in a parody of their service in an episode of South Park. Paul Horner, the public relations manager of Yelp, discussed the case and revealed that they're suing the show for $10 million. Even though they admitted that the piece was satirical and nothing more than a parody. Lame. How'd the creators respond? Parker and Stone issued a joint statement, gave Yelp a 1-star rating, and called them unprofessional. Sizzle and burn. But that's far from the only episode that sparked a lawsuit. Remember the episode Imagination Land in Season 11? Written by the dynamic duo, it was released in 2007 and shows the boys in a mystical location. Everyone from Jason Voorhees to Luke Skywalker is in this 3-part Emmy-winning episode. The episode also features Lollipop King, a skinny man with a crown who leads Butters to Castle Sunshine, and that became the problem. Xavier Wardlaw, the creator of the children's TV series The Lollipop Forest, sued Stone and Parker in 2012 for copyright infringement. Wardlaw thought that his own character, Big Bad Lollipop, was the inspiration for the sugary world depicted on South Park. Also, he didn't like that this apparent ripoff was highlighted on a program targeted at adults. Now, parodies aren't always well received, like when Brown Mark Productions, the creator of the music video for the widely popular 2007 song What by Samwell, sued the show. His claim? The song in Season 12, Episode 4, which features Butters, is a nearly identical reproduction. And you won't believe the twist that followed. In the end, it was Brown Mark Productions who was ordered to pay South Park $30,000. Yep, a federal judge sided with South Park and ruled them out for attempting to block free expression. You see, because many of the episodes of comedies like South Park tackle serious political issues, these shows are protected by strong First Amendment rights. Also, there's a legal principle known as fair use that permits the restricted use of copyrighted content for scholarly or humorous purposes. It's very difficult to file a lawsuit based on copyright infringement, invasion of privacy, or defamation, because the show is obviously satirical. Nowhere does it claim to be true, and it targets public figures who voluntarily sought out the spotlight. Nobody's ever going to mistake a South Park parody for anything even remotely like reality or an accurate portrayal of anything, right? So, even though everyone has the right to their day in court, doing so might be difficult against a well-funded opponent like Parker and Stone, who've won similar lawsuits. Still, it doesn't keep people from condemning the show, like religious groups in particular, who despise the show. Remember the Jesus vs. Santa episode? The religious figure has been portrayed countless times during South Park's extensive run, and not always favorably. Several Christian organizations have expressed their concern over this and demanded that the show be canceled. But the truth is, activists no longer spend a great deal of time criticizing South Park for its content like they used to, because they finally realized that it's a terrible waste of time. Activists have been protesting South Park ever since its debut, way back in 1999. The Parents Television Council was the first to lead the charge to have the show canceled. Of course, Matt and Trey didn't care. I mean, they didn't even care about getting banned in other countries, so it takes a lot of guts to challenge censorship in China, especially given that most people strive to maintain good relations in order to be allowed to generate revenue in the densely populated nation. South Park, though, is unbothered, flourishing in its own lane. In an episode accurately titled Banned in China, they made digs at the Chinese Communist Party. The fact that Matt and Trey bravely criticized not just the censorship regulations, but also how US businesses submit to the demands of the Chinese government is what made the episode so popular in America. The response was, well, censorship. It was both ironically appropriate and completely expected. South Park was essentially blocked out from China by the authorities, who even banned South Park fan sites. The feud was then famously extended by South Park's humorous non-apology apology. They weren't done feuding with one country. So, in the episode Pinewood Derby, Mexican government officials were seen failing to handle a serious problem, calling upon the wrath of the Mexican government. The episode was banned in Mexico too. There you have it, ladies and gents. Those were all the times the creators of South Park were sued.